Alright, we're back on gaming, alright? Let me start this right now. I just want to say to everyone, before I start, that we have quite a lengthy show today, because there's a lot of gaming news that needs to be talked about, and I'm going to show you a lot of things. But first, I have to start with the usual suspects. That's right. So, before I start this whole GamerGate thing, alright? I want to say this right now, because a lot of people, ever since a specific episode has aired, okay, you've been asking me, Event, how do you feel about the Law & Order episode? Now, look, let's get something straight here, okay? Let's get something straight. Notice I'm not really angry right now. No, because the things that have happened since then is snowballed. It's just, you just watch it burn. And I said that before. The Law & Order episode, I said, the video before, I said, this episode's going to come out, and I said to everybody, do not take it seriously. They've done this before and just pissed all over gaming. And what did I say? Take it with a grain of salt. Just laugh at it. Laugh at it. Don't take it seriously. If you take it seriously, you're going to hurt yourself. You really are. Because you're setting yourself up for failure. That's what you're doing. Now, before this episode came out, we saw a lot of anti-GamerGaters in media. Oh, I can't wait for this episode. They're going to show GamerGate. Oh, they're going to get them. And I'm thinking to myself, you can't be this stupid. Because if you've ever watched the Law & Order, other Law & Order gaming episode, they just messed that up completely. So, it's like, I expected more of that. So, as the time was going on and people was getting hyped for it, people started making drinking games for it, bingo cards for it. Like, you knew what was going to happen with Law & Order. And it started off exactly with all the bad things. Everything that could have been wrong with that episode went wrong. And people keep asking me, why aren't you mad? Because it was the most unintentional comedy I've ever seen in my life. 10-10, I'd watch it again. I'm telling you, every time, and I would sit there and I would laugh. That's how great the episode was, alright? Because they hit every stereotype that you could. And it was funny because when it first started, it was like, gamer girl, you shouldn't be there. And I'm like, oh, drink, yeah. Because that's how it was. Every time they did something, take a drink as far as I'm concerned, alright? So, they got the girls in the bathroom, and they're body bumping her like this, because no one's touching her. They're not touching her with her hands or anything. They're like this in the stall, and she's like, stop, stop. And the lady's like, what happened? She's like, they leveled up. Really? That's the best you could come on, man? And I'm just sitting there like, no, this isn't really happening. And throughout the entire time, you saw bad quote after bad quote. Well, we gotta find these guys. Well, it's like finding a geek in a geek stack. Really? That's what you come up with? Like, the writing for this is so bad. And it's hilarious. And I'm happy that they name dropped Kotaku. I'm so happy about this. Because even Kotaku afterwards, I'll speak about that later, you know, they were against it, okay? But I just found it funny that everything we've seen in this episode, you know, they talk like they killed the guy at the end, and they're talking about he was camping. What? He was camping! And he went to the first person view! And oh my god, and gamers have had, if anyone has seen, you know, what they've done in Photoshop, you know, those pictures, it is hilarious. It is jokes on top of jokes. And it's amazing how 1 second, the woman didn't even know anything about gaming, and all of a sudden, she was an absolute pro by the commercial break. It was just, I'm telling you, if you watch it for everything it is, and you apply logic, it just doesn't work. And the thing is, when the show was over, and like I said, 10-10, I'd watch it again. When the show was over, then it snowballed. It was just, they opened the gates, and everyone just came running in. And I'm sitting there like this. I'm like, this is going to be good. I'm going to get my popcorn. This is going to be great. The writer for Law & Order said that, you know, well, my timeline is women thanking me and the other people are making snarky comments. And when you looked at his mentions on Twitter, there was no women thanking him. And people were like, you must be delusional. All I saw was women bagging on him, destroying him, because they're like, actually, you did nothing for women in gaming. You didn't show us being strong. You didn't show us being resilient. At the end of the episode, the woman who was supposed to be Anita Sarkeesian ended up quitting. She ended up quitting. So it goes to show you that nothing was gained. Why? Because all they did was take their narrative and then piss all over, not just their narrative, but also the gaming culture in general, which you should have expected. You saw it coming. But it was just hilarious to watch everyone's reaction, and they were just bagging all over the writer. Men and women. Did not matter. Developers, gamers, people, it was just amazing to watch. So I'm just sitting there laughing inside. Like, this is just pure entertainment as far as I'm concerned. This is one of those things where when you go on Twitter and you say, I wonder if it's going to be a good day on Twitter. It was a good day on Twitter because it was hilarious. You know what I mean? And that wasn't all. Then we saw the media come out. Kotaku was like, you shouldn't watch this. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, you're going to say you shouldn't watch it due to the fact that they name dropped you and then made a bad episode. Because every writer that came out, that was for this narrative that said GamerGate was bad, they used your narrative. They used the blueprint. And Jason Shearer said, well, this makes all of gaming look bad. You really shouldn't, pay attention to this. And here's the thing. Gamers were like, no shit. But here's the problem with Jason Shearer. That's the same narrative that you've been pushing for months. All they did was take your blueprint and run with it. Now the world, or should I say, anyone who has, regular TV, anyways, mass media, mass public who isn't in gaming, now they see just how silly the narrative is. And now you can't escape it. That's the beauty. And the Sarkeesian camp was like, this episode was wrong. You took women's problems and, and you tried to cash in on it and try to make it for entertainment. That's like kind of the pot calling the kettle black here, isn't it? I mean, let's be honest here. That's what you do, Anita. They took what you did, except they put it on a larger scale. And here's the thing, self-proclaimed pop culture critic, you should have known this because you should have did your homework on it. But you didn't. Now, did you? Now, I was waiting for you to come out and go after him because, in the past, Anita Sarkeesian, when she first started her video series, it was about movies. It was about TV, stuff like that, Still on the, on the whole feminist thing, but about movies. And no one gave a damn, did they? Nope, not one. Not one. That was the beauty of it, alright? She had to target gaming because that's what got her popular. And then gamers, because they were so reactionary at the time, gave her credibility. Because, look, I'm being a victim. That's what she did. So understand, like when I say that gamers made Anita, they did. Because the movie industry, Hollywood, they didn't give a shit about her. No one did. But she she only put a tweet out there. She didn't do a video and try to take a dig at it, did she? No. She didn't try to break it down, did she? No. Because that been too much like right. She doesn't want to hurt people in Hollywood too much because, let's be honest here. The only person she has probably next to her is what? Joss Whedon? And we all see what's been going on with him as of late, so he needs to sit the fuck down. Will Seth Rogen sit the fuck down because we saw what happened to him as of late. They said everybody that has come out the woodwork and tried, was it Grant Linham or whatever? You saw what he did. He can sit the fuck down. If you see these people tweets, I keep telling you, GamerGate, you don't have to say anything. And yet, within all of this, we saw other mainstream media try and push Law & Order as it was a positive thing. First, it was Entertainment Weekly. Wow, they're just going to make this easy for me today, huh? I mean, then again, when is it not easy? But you know what? Let's get on this, because Entertainment Weekly, as we already know, is a shit publication. You gotta be crazy enough to read it anyway. But they say that this is uncomfortably accurate. What is so accurate about it? Because I want some proof. What is accurate about it? Let's be honest here. I mean, is GamerGate going through the Red Chan and using the darknet to shut down, just conferences out of nowhere? Is that what they do? By God, they broke that conference in half. Dang, they did! It's amazing to see this. I feel it's absolutely hilarious that this is something that we have seen time and time again. That they're just going to sling their garbage, and then people who are stupid enough to believe them just say, oh, we'll just take their word for it. And here's the thing, also. It wasn't just Entertainment Weekly, all right? It was the Washington Post as well that says that Law & Order has the final word on this issue. This goes to show you how arrogant the media can be. And it doesn't even have to be the game media. It's media in general, all right? Because you're saying that Law & Order had the final word. Who made them the authority? I want to know this. Who made them the end-all, be-all? Because if that's the final word on GamerGate, well then, guess what? It is great for us gamers then. It was hilarious. I'm telling you, Law & Order did nothing but help GamerGate as opposed to hurting GamerGate. It gave you everything you needed, every piece of ammo that you needed, so that you didn't have to worry about any type of SJW, faux SJW. Let's be honest here, people. I'm going to show you some of that too today, all right? Faux SJW coming out and saying how this is wrong and how we should be ashamed of ourselves. That's not what it comes down to, no. But as the image shows, you know what? You did have the final word. Because as they said, before the woman quit at the end, if you quit, gamers win. And she says, they already won. So if that's the final verdict, then I guess us gamers win, huh? Like, this is what I mean about people not paying attention to what's going on and what's being said. And they're just quick to run. They're just diarrhea of the mouth so quickly before even thinking about what's going on. But that's okay because, once again, Polygon. Alright? Because as we know, a number of sites, said, look, don't watch this. But Polygon actually endorsed it. They were stupid enough to endorse it. And he had the nerve to say that these events actually happened. I mean, Polygon is so right on this issue. It's based on things that have actually happened. I cannot tell you how many times I have seen GamerGate abduct somebody, sexually assault them, and possibly kill them because, you know, people were killed in that episode. Wait. None of that actually happened, right? None of that. Look, you've got to be kidding me that this is something that actually was greenlit. You know, there's no way that you can write something this much garbage and think that it's going to stick. It's like throwing shit against a wall and hoping that it doesn't run down. That's what you're doing at this point. Look, I'll put it like this. This is what we talk about, journalistic integrity. But you still want to stick with this narrative that it's about hating the women, right? You've got to be kidding. You have given us the example of what we're talking about. I wonder how, you know, the people who are running the site, you know, the person who owns the site, when they're reading this, what are they thinking? Like, yo, this is just, that's crazy. Because, like I said, any real publication, when you do something like that without providing any proof, you'd have been fired. You'd have been fired. There is no way that would have flown. But you know what? During all this, because we're asking for journalistic integrity, we're asking for, you know, ethics in journalism, then you want to say, we're abusing you. Comments like these are electric because I get a chance to knock them right down. Now I'll put it like this. You want to talk about smiling at your abusers. So I'll put it like this. When one of your own got caught trying to sleep their way to the top because we see all these connections and people wanted ethics in journalism and they got upset because, guess what? They've been in this community longer than you have and they take it to heart. So yeah, it's a lifestyle at this point and you don't understand that. So when you go and say something reckless like, you know, gamers are dead, they're going to get very upset, and they're going to curse you out because you pretty much lit the fuse. That's what you've done. You don't want to take any responsibility on that, do you, media? No, you don't want to do that, no. So, instead of us saying ethics in journalism and trying to, you know, say you should have some integrity at your job and take some responsibility, it comes down to, oh, we're just going to call you abusers, which is the most immature thing that you can do. So you're going to talk about the consumer base that you need to survive because, let's be honest here, without consumers, there wouldn't be games, and guess what? There wouldn't be a gaming media, so that means you would be out of a job. But you want to say that this is all on the consumers. You want to put it like that. You want to talk about abuse. These are the same people who say they get harassment and rape threats. And we're going to talk about that because you want to say the abusers. This is still on the lines of abuse because the same SJWs that say that are now threatening others with rape threats. So let me get this straight. I want people to entertain me on this real quick, all right? When men in the gaming community have used rape as in a general term or as a weapon, as in something they're doing in a game, it's wrong, right? That's what they've said. But when women use it in an offensive manner, it's okay. Okay, I just want to get this right because, you know, they want equality, but they don't want to be criticized equally, if you get what I'm saying. But that's no, you know, since you want to go and rape 4chan with porn and shit, okay, because that's what it said, all right, I wonder, the average person, gender-wise, I wonder who's really on 4chan these days. Let's look at the statistics. So, let's get into this, okay? Men using the word rape in an offensive context is wrong. Women using rape in an offensive context is okay. That's what you're saying right now. Because men raping women is wrong. Women raping men is non-existent. It doesn't exist, right? And now we have women raping women that's apparently okay. Do you see this? How about this? How about just blanketing and saying that all rape is wrong because you're forcing someone beyond their will. They don't want to do it. Instead of taking that context, no, this is what you do. This is amazing. You know, I should just stop the video right now. I should. It's too easy, though. It's just too easy. And you know what? After giving you these facts, of course they don't want you to see these things. No. They have to go right back to their gravy train when it comes to victimhood and victimizing. And I've been forced out of my house and I'm fighting for my life. Isn't that right, Brianna Wu? Man, they're just going to run with this, aren't they? Look, Brianna Wu, nobody believes you, okay? After last week, when you got caught harassing yourself on Steam because you forgot to log out of your developer handle, that's it. It's over. Let it go. It's done. Nobody believes, what Jay say, nobody believes you. You need more people. No one believes you at this point, all right? Let's move on. Let's talk about, since all this has happened, the Escapist has decided to make a lot of moves. And what we've seen so far, Movie Bob has been fired. That's right. And Movie Bob goes on to say that it's not GamerGate. It's just something that was coming and that he's going to move forward. But since he doesn't have a job now, you should donate to his Patreon. They always fall back to the Patreon, don't they? When in doubt, use Patreon. Look, I will put it like this, okay? If you want to say that GamerGate, it's not their fault, fine. You don't want to give them that credit because the things that you have said have been completely off the wall, off base, all right? But you don't want to talk about that. That's fine. But if you got fired by the Escapist, that means that your content was lacking. It means that your content wasn't worthwhile anymore. Which means, why the hell would somebody donate to you for you to sit on your ass? Why would you do that? Huh? Why would you think that would be okay? So those jackasses, I'm sure there's going to be some stupid-ass people who want to donate. But I have to ask those stupid-ass people as well, why would you donate to a person who says something like this? Now, Bob says that he believes, listen and believe. He says that he believes that there's almost no such thing as bad tactics, which should tell you, anybody with logic, this guy will do anything, damn near anything, for attention, which means he's thirsty. That's what it means, okay? But then he goes on to say that there are bad targets. Now, I have to think about that for a minute. It's interesting he would say that because I really wish that some of his people in his, in his little clique would have actually taken a little bit of that to heart, that there are bad targets. For those who don't know, I'm talking about Arthur Chu, ignorant ass Arthur Chu. Let's talk about this right now. For those who don't know what happened over the weekend, all right? A porn star had a home invasion. That's right. She, some guys kicked in the door waving the 4-4. They stuck guns to her face. There was kids there, her husband, her family was there. You know what I mean? Demanding money, and then they sexually assaulted her. That's right. This is what happened. Now, here's the sad part. When this is going on because she was abused, and we see these type of things, and this is nothing made up because this has been on the news. This is legit. You know what I mean? GamerGate decided we're going to donate X amount of dollars to her because of the fact that nobody should have to go towards that abuse. You know what I mean? Nobody should. And what happened? Arthur Chu comes out and goes against it and says that he's campaigning against giving money to this porn star and her family. By his logic, all right, he's saying that she doesn't deserve help because she's a porn star. So he's shaming sexuality. That's what he's doing. Mind you, this is the same person who was so quick to, on David Pakman's show to say, Zoe Quinn, thank me. You do realize that Zoe Quinn was a failed porn star. That's what she wanted to be, right, Arthur Chu? You do realize that. So you support a failed porn star, but you don't support an actual porn star. And you want to shame her for her sexuality, which is part of feminism. You stupid shit! I told you before about this, and I want to say this real quick, okay? This is what I meant before about MagFest. What did I say? When you sit there and you let people like him speak on diversity, a bigot, a racist like Arthur Chu speak on diversity? There's something fucking wrong with you, MagFest. Like I said, you should have said, we do not, tolerate any type of hate. But you didn't do that. So fuck you, MagFest, okay? That just shows even more. It makes you look bad. This is what happens when you let these people have these panels, okay? However, with Arthur Chu, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Just because you can memorize a couple facts and go on a show and spit it out like a parrot, because that's what you are, a parrot, it doesn't mean that you're intelligent enough to speak on a social construct. It's sad that we see this, all right? GamerGate did the right thing by helping those who were in need, not who beg and run the Patreon because their game is failing or they lost their job or no. We're not doing that. No. This is what I mean. People who actually are in need. People are being helped. But they're not going to give you that credit, will they, GamerGate? No. And within all this, like I said, ever since the Law & Order episode, they have been falling apart. They really haven't had much to say, so now they lash at anything and try and get attention. Now, as we know, developers now are speaking up when it comes to, GamerGate and trying to bridge the gap between consumer, developer, and the media. So, developers have now came out with a petition, and I will say this right now, okay, about this petition. I am against the petition. I'm against it. Why? Because I've been saying for how long? Let it burn. We are beyond the point where they can just say sorry and we can make up and that's it. So as far as I'm concerned, that petition does nothing. That's my opinion. You know what I mean? There is no way you can sit here after all the things that we said, like I said, the bigotry, the racism, all these things that you have shown. You cannot just sit here and say, sorry folks, we'll get back to it and we'll take responsibility now and everything will be fine, right? No. We're beyond that. It's time that people are losing their jobs and we're starting to see it. But People they deserve to lose their jobs over this. They do. You cannot say such a thing, especially when our community is such a melting pot, all right? But with that being said, then we have Ben Kuchera. Oh, Benjamin of Benjamin. And I'm sure there's some of you saying that you said his last name wrong. I don't care. Because the guy doesn't deserve respect, as far as I'm concerned. He comes out and goes against developers. That's right. Especially on his petition, trying to bridge the gap. He doesn't want to do that. The community, this is what I mean about giving them enough rope and them hanging themselves. Now, I want to read this. I want to make this crystal clear as I respond, okay? It says, I don't care how many people sign a petition to try to force the press to become industry cheerleaders. I reject the idea completely. Now, understand, industry cheerleaders? No. We are asking you to take responsibility. Mind you, we have jumped on you for taking handouts for being an industry cheerleader. That's what we've done. So no, we don't want you to be an industry cheerleader. Where are you getting this from? Either you're coming up with your own bullshit, or you really aren't listening to the people who have complained about this. It's not about being an industry cheerleader. Developers want you to be in good rapport and say, hey, be responsible, be professional. It's okay if you don't like a product, because guess what? Criticism is everywhere. Especially in your field, Ben. It is. If you can't take criticism, then you should not be in this field. You shouldn't, all right? But you have to understand that it's not about being a cheerleader. No. The developers want to get back to normal. They want to get back to things so that this gravy train can keep going. But you don't want to do that. You are so caught up in your own fields that you think that this is about you being a cheerleader, when it's actually the opposite. Stop taking handouts. How many times have we seen this time and time again, where you're getting free stuff just to review a game? That's what we're talking about. We want you to disclose things that happen, not become a cheerleader. But this is what he thinks. But he goes even further. That's right. Because they don't know when to shut up. That's right. You've already bagged on developers, so you're cutting them off at the knees, all right? You're alienating developers. Then they alienate consumers. So now you want to cut off customers who disagree or criticize you. That's what you want to do. First you cut off, you alienate the developers, now the customers. You do realize it's like cutting off both your legs in business, right? So now you have no foundation to stand on. That's absolutely insane. You know what? This is what I mean. Let them burn. Because you're so caught up in your fields and people criticize you. You know what? You need to go sit down in the corner, go have a Coke and a smile. There's something wrong with you right now. And you need to remove yourself from the situation. You really do. Get off Twitter as far as I'm concerned, because all you do, like I said, these type of things, all you do is hurt yourself. That's all you're doing. And yet, for some reason, you think that's okay. And the thing is, you now, see, the gaming media, because, like I said, this is all because of what happened with the Law & Order episode. They've taken so many punches that they will reach at anything. So now, they're being defensive. They're going after developers. They were already, after gamers. We already saw that, But to deliberately come out and say that I'm trying to lose you as a customer, that should tell you something. Unless he really feels that you're expendable, that, hey, if one person leaves, another person will take their place, it goes to show you, once again, the arrogance of gaming media, or media in general. This is what they're about. Like I said, they don't look at you as a person. They look at you as a unit sold, or a click, that's right, or a rating, or a buy rate, or whatever you want to call it. That's what they look at you as. And I think, as a community, it is time that we start seeing them for what it is. Matter of fact, writers have become so desperate in this situation now, after Law & Order, that now they're quoting themselves. That's right, they're quoting themselves in articles that they wrote. It is particularly sad that writers, in order to have their opinion pieces to push as fact, have to quote themselves on articles that they wrote, because they have no backing. They have no backing whatsoever, no leverage. And here's the thing, at the end of that article, they actually threaten developers. Yes, threats. So once again, the same people who are complaining about threats and harassment and rape and all this, you go and do it yourself. I cannot believe that this is what it's come to. Like I said, let them burn. Because gamers, they just want to play their games. And this is what they meant, because when you just want to play their game, their games, and then you have these people barge in with all this garbage, gamers take the action. And for those who don't know what I'm talking about, a brilliant video just came out not too long ago, targeting actually both sides if you look at it, but you should look at it in the comedy construct, about social justice warriors and video games.
I need to recruit a party to fight off the evil that threatens this world. Black mage, white mage, and warrior.
That's social justice, warrior.
Yeah, right. Whatever.
I'll deal with this.
It's not your turn, warrior.
Oh, I get it. The ninja always gets to go first, huh? At least be aware of your agility privilege.
Oh, black mage, use Faraga on that troll. White mage, heal me.
Wow, so the black mage kills and the white mage heals? Talk about regressive labeling.
What's wrong with that? Black mage's job is
Oh my god, listen to yourself. Black mage? Are we living in the 1950s?
Well, that's what he is!
He has a name, you bigot!
She's right. It's Darren. I didn't want to say anything, but yeah. Darren.
For the last time, you can't wear ninja armor. You're a warrior. You have to wear warrior armor.
Oh, forcing me into traditional class roles with my clothing. Don't you know many people identify as class fluid?
I don't get what any of that means. The hour is nigh. We must destroy this foul harbinger of evil.
Evil? Wow. Okay, all you're doing is othering people you disagree with.
That's it! I totally agree with you that there are harmful societal trends that negatively impact traditionally oppressed groups and that we should work to remedy them and promote tolerance and equality. Ignoring them and attacking those who try to bring attention to those topics would be shameful. But can it wait until after we stop the 40-foot-tall god demon from casting the world into eternal darkness with the Hell Crystal?
Yeah, I get you're trying to help me, but I am explicitly trying to end all life on the planet.
Stop right there. Trigger warning.
Psh, trigger warning?
I said trigger warning.
Haha, social justice warrior, you've done it. Here's your 77 gold.
Thank you, ninja. This is so... my job is so hard.
And 100 gold for the rest of us. What? What's it? Oh, shit. Right.
In legal news in this aspect, alright, check this out. Court documents. Lawyers for Gawker interns plan to find new plaintiffs by spamming GamerGate on Reddit. That's how desperate they've become that they have to spam on Reddit to try and find people. You understand that, right? This is pathetic, man. This is how far it's gone. Let's move on to gaming. I want to talk gaming news. Got a lot of it to talk about, so let's get started. Capcom. That's right. All right, Capcom. We're starting already. Capcom comeback of 2015, or at least that's what the article says. That's right. They are saying right now that Resident Evil Revelations 2, they're saying right now, they're confirming it, that the complete edition will be confirmed if you get the retail version. They talk about how, yes, you can get these games, the episodes in pieces, but if you wait for the complete edition, all right, in the retail, you will get all the DLC, you will get everything with it. So like I've been saying in previous videos, wait for the retail version. That's all you got to do. You get everything with it, all right? Also, they talk about Resident Evil 6 was a commercial success. Okay, it was commercial. Okay, if that's where you want to go, okay. Also, they say that Capcom wants to grow Street Fighter V in esports. They actually, in the article, they compare it to League of Legends. They want to focus so much on Street Fighter, they want to make it that big. So if they're going to focus on Street Fighter that much, I'm letting you guys know now, and girls know now, you're going to see a lot of Street Fighter coming in the future. If they want it to get this big when it comes to esports. Just letting you know that. We'll talk a little bit more about esports later, okay? Also, Devil May Cry. Remember that trash-ass Devil May Cry that came out not too long ago? They talk about how it was very good, but some changes needed to be made. Let's talk about this right now, okay? You have to understand, I understand that these are the new guys that are in charge. They're going to try and push this type of stuff. You have to understand that the way Capcom treated their customers, their consumers, their fans, I'm shocked that it didn't fall, they didn't fall apart even more, because they talk about how, they had all these big lineups back then, and they all fell short of whatever goal they wanted. They were lackluster. They talk about it. And now that, they're coming out with a definitive edition, that, it's a lot better. That ship has sailed. You have missed that. Like I said, I understand these new guys are in charge now. They want to bring stuff. I put it like this, all right? If you want to gain the gamers' trust back, you need to bring out new IPs. You cannot sit here, especially you're already telling us right now, we got a lot of Street Fighter coming in the future. Gamers don't want Street Fighter that much. They don't. How many editions can you keep going to? This is not the arcades anymore. You know what I mean? I'm just saying you need to focus on other IPs that you had in the past. I've said this before. In the past, that can really jumpstart you in a great way and earn the fans' trust back. Stop worrying about Devil May Cry. I understand people want Devil May Cry 5, But right now, I think that people need a break from Devil May Cry because of the fact that you're not giving them new Dante. Oh, wait, you want to give them the skin of the old Dante to put in the new game, so you think that's just going to sell, it's going to satisfy fans. Fans wanted Devil May Cry 5, but the way Capcom has treated their fans, I think it's best to just hang back for a while and just be like, no, you treat us like shit, deal with it. Bring out some new games. Because all you did was focus on Resident Evil, Street Fighter, Devil May Cry. That's all you pretty much focused on. You need to show that, like I said, you need to show the fan base that you have more, in your arsenal than just 3 to 5 games. That's all. That's what you need to do. When you can do that, then we'll talk. Also, I want to talk more about this Resident Evil thing. Because Resident Evil Revelations 2, it says, isn't survival horror. That's right, there's an opinion piece, all right? Now, mind you, in the other article that I'll put in the info bar, they talk about how Resident Evil Revelations 2 is survival horror, where this writer who says, is an opinion piece saying it's not survival horror, I'll let you be the judge of that, you guys and girls, okay? Also, let's talk about Evolve, because that's true survival horror at this point when it comes to consumers and their wallets, all right? Check this out. Evolve, players caught cheating their way to the top of the leaderboard. The game hasn't even been out that long, and you're already cheating. Come on. I mean, how desperate can you be? It's a game. Seriously. You should be playing for fun, not, I gotta get to the top of everything, I gotta be the man of everything. No, stop. You're hurting not only people who are working hard and playing the game because they're going through all the aches and pains, but you gotta cheat to get to the top? Really? You're cheating? Stop. Just stop. Really. Also, I want to talk about more Evolve. We talked about this last week. I showed you the image, and I put the info bar. You can see the DLC pieces that were coming out. And here's an article that says Evolve launches with $136 worth of DLC. Once again, company, tell me how this is not milking the consumer. $136, huh? You know what? Let's just move on to more erroneous DLC. Dead or Alive, that's right, last round. For those who don't know, their season pass is coming out, and it will cost up to $100. Matter of fact, look at the bundle and how many pieces there are in the add-on section. Now, I know some of you are seeing this and saying, hey, this is uncalled for. We don't need this for a fighting game. They're going completely out of bounds with this, and as a community, we shouldn't support this. I'll put it like this. In the info bar, I will put the article in there. I want you to look at the comment section, because this is what's being said, because apparently gamers are planning to support it. All it took was one guy and 5 other idiots followed that quickly. It goes to show you that. Now, granted, you can't tell people what to buy and what they can't, what they can buy and what they can't buy, but you should know, when people keep supporting things like this, these type of tactics, this is why companies keep getting away with it. That's all it is to it. Now, I do want to move on to more Dead or Alive, okay? Because it says Dead or Alive last round isn't working with Xbox One, Madcatz, or Razer arcade sticks, alright? They are looking into it, but it goes to show you that this game still has some compatibility problems, alright? Also, Dead or Alive last round will let you transfer DLC from the PS3 and 360 to the Xbox One and PS4. Well, they should let you. I mean, that should be a no-brainer at this point. I mean, let's be honest here. If you're paying that much for DLC, they better let you. I'm just saying. Also, in more fighting news, I gotta talk about this, alright? Because this is a lot of things that's just happening this week when it comes to fighting games. It just is, okay? Mortal Kombat X. I know I've been on it for a while now, and the DLC and things of that nature, but there's more, okay? Mortal Kombat X won't have a demo. Won't have a demo. No. So I'll put it like this, and in the article, because they're saying, because the final version is better. And in the article they're saying, well, you can't argue with that logic. Yes, you can. You want to know why? Because the final version is supposed to be better than a damn demo. But you have to give people something to look forward to. And I say this not because of people who have played Mortal Kombat before, because you're going to get your vets. They know what they've played. They're going to support it. You're going to have people who've played Injustice, and they think, well, it's going to be almost the same. So they're going to support it. We're talking about people who have not played these games. And you want to grow, and you're trying to grow a mass base, all right? So for people who have not played this, you think that not putting out a demo, we used to get demos all the time, now we don't. You won't put out a demo because the final version will be better? That's common sense! But yet you're going to have people sit here and say, well, you can't argue with that logic. Yes, the hell you can. As a consumer, you should know better. It's that simple. If you don't put out a demo, I'm not just going to buy it out of a whim. I got to get my hands on it first to see if I like the feel of the game. That's what it comes to. You cannot sit here and tell me I'm just going to run out and support it. That's stupid. Beyond stupid. Like I said, Vets, they've played it before, they're fine. People who played Injustice before, they're fine. But we're talking about people who haven't played it. You know what I mean? Like I said, especially if you want your consumer base to get bigger. Just saying, it's bad business. It is. You should put out a demo. It's absolutely ridiculous that you just sat there and said because the final version will be better. Beyond just... Okay, let's move on. MKX. Female characters to be more realistically proportioned. Really? Really? Now, people are going to say, well, you have a problem with this event. Because, you know what? They've done this before. And I'm not saying Mortal Kombat, but in fighting games before. We saw what they did with Chun-Li, and they made her more somewhat realistic proportion, and people still complained about it, didn't they? So it doesn't matter what they look like at this point. There's always going to be someone out there who complains. How can you sit here and say you want more realism in your game when you got characters like this? So should us men begin to complain about the way fighters have looked over the years? There's all these big muscles and zero waistlines and things of that nature because it pushes a stereotype of what we're supposed to be, you know, and we can't reach? I mean, really, have you seen Ryu as of late? I mean, just muscle on top of muscle. I mean, seriously, we're talking about a game that rips off heads and tears out hearts, all right? And these guys are big as hell. They're so defined. Are you going to sit here and tell me that if we complain that we'll just be looked at as a bunch of crybabies? Yeah. That double standard, man. That double standard. Like I said, you cannot sit here and do that and then say it's totally fair for the guys, but not for the women. It's not fair to either, because the fact is, it is a fantasy game. Hence the word fantasy. Why you're allowed to get away with such proportions. Hence why people have 4 arms. Hence why you got guys floating in the air and carrying on. It's a fantasy game. You don't need realistic proportions. This is my opinion. Because if that's what you're going to try and force and say women need to be looked at more realistic, well then men need to look more realistic then. But then that would cause a huge problem, and then, here we go again with, game media and game developers and saying you're nothing but a bunch of whiny babies, and we know how this goes. Double standards. Anyways, I want to move on. I want to talk more about MKX because, realistic proportions, right? Check this out. Todd McFarlane says yes for Spawn to be included in MKX. Realistic proportions, though. Like I said, when you got guys running around, comic book characters like Spawn, and you got all this, don't talk to me about realistic proportions at this point. You've got to be kidding me. And the thing is, Spawn has been in another fight. He was a Soul Calibur, so you know what? This is once again a comic book character that has been in a number of games, but still we haven't got a Spawn game in a very long time. Can we please get a new Spawn game? Is it possible? Also, in more Mortal Kombat X news, Predator may be DLC for the game. That's right, so MKX may get Predator as DLC. I mean, isn't this why y'all had Cyrex and Sector back in the day? Isn't this why? I mean, look, you've had Freddy, you're getting Spawn, Predator, you're getting all this... This is what I mean, just let Mortal Kombat, just let Mortal Kombat be Mortal Kombat. Seriously, if you want to make a dream match or something, make all those hard, sci-fi and all those things, put those guys all in one game, those girls all in one game, and let fans have it, but instead, they're just going to trickle you down with DLC, and we've already seen that. This is just, whatever, man, whatever. Anyways, in more fighting news, more fighting game news, I should say, new Dragon Ball Z game for the 3DS is a 2D fighter with over 100 characters. That's right, so if you're upset with Xenoverse right now, maybe you want to look into this 3DS version. 2D fighter, though. So that goes to show you, they're going old school. I'm surprised they haven't tried to port this over, but we'll see what happens, Also, Pokken Fighters, let's talk about this right now. For those who are interested, there's a game trailer that introduces playable Pokemon and the battle system. Just to let you know that, okay? Also, EVO 2015 will use the PS4 versions of Ultra Street Fighter 4 and MKX. Alright? So, for those who are practicing, if you don't have a PS4, you may want to get used to a PS4 controller unless you're using an arcade stick. I don't know how some of you guys play. Some of you use controllers. Some of you don't. Everyone likes the, personal feel of certain controllers. So, you never know. Okay? Also, I want to move on about esports. I said I'd talk about it. Esports athletes work with the White House. That's right, the White House. To promote healthcare enrollment. First off, this is wrong. Esport athletes, just stop. Stop right there, okay? Because that's a bunch of garbage. First off, I don't need politics in my video games. I don't, all right? And you're using these people to try and get to the youth. Once again, this is the same White House that said that you gamers were violent, that they had to do studies to see if violent games connected you to make you killers, alright? Now they want to use you again. Do you understand what's going on here? Fuck them, as far as I'm concerned. And these athletes who decide to step in, you should be ashamed of yourself too, knowing that this shit is going on. But you want to talk about athletes? Let's talk about real athletes and what happens when they transfer over from video games. For those who did not see, because I saw this way before articles were sitting around, because I was sitting around on Twitter when I was watching the World Series of MMA, and I said to you guys, I showed you this screenshot, I said, that pose. And for those who don't know what I'm talking about, check this out.
More exciting aspects of round number 2 was this spinning back kick coming from Shane Campbell and landing cleanly on Derek Boyle.
And what I like that he's doing in the southpaw position and still kicks with that same leg. So with the front, oh, look at this, he did the power ball. Oh man, he's hurt to the body, and now he's going to attack it. You better believe it.
Shane Campbell all over Derek Boyle. This could be it.
Yeah. As you can see, video games do influence people, real athletes. And before anyone comes and says, what do you mean esports, no real athlete? Let's just stop that right now, okay? We're not getting into that again, all right? But I do want to move on, all right? Because this Nintendo thing, look, people understand, we've talked about this in the previous weeks, how Nintendo has been baiting you to buy amiibos and that they're going to cut off certain amiibos so that you run out in a panic. And we've seen this as of late. We saw one guy spend all that money for, for all those amiibos so that other people couldn't get them. You know what I mean? Now, they're taking it to another level. That's right. Nintendo is going to make you go crazy over amiibos again. Nintendo is preparing for one-run limited edition amiibo. That's right. So this is all you're getting, one run of this limited edition, so you know people are going to run out and try to get it as fast as possible. But that's not all. No. Walmart is to sell a gold Mario amiibo, so you know they're going to go crazy over this. You know this, all right? However, there's more. Nintendo says that they want to help Japanese publishers promote their games in the West. Now, I put it like this, okay? I think that this is a good concept for Nintendo to help people, but we don't know exactly if people are going to bite. They're going to take the bait on this when it comes to publishers. We don't know how Nintendo wants to do this. Yeah, we'll help you as long as you try and make it exclusive to us or something. You don't know what the deal is going to be. So I think this is more of not as much helping them as they're helping each other, because Nintendo wants that product. They want that third-party support. So I think this is their way of trying to get people to do it. We'll help promote it. We've seen it not too long ago. If anyone has seen a commercial on TV, they've been pushing Monster Hunter 4 for the 3DS on TV here, for Ultimate. And I put it like this because I haven't seen a standalone commercial for Capcom to promote it, but Nintendo promoted it. You know what I mean? And they showed, all these guys and girls playing Monster Hunter 4 with the new 3DS, set up and the bundle. So, I haven't seen Capcom promote it at all, as opposed to Nintendo actually promoting it. So, that should go and tell you something right there. Also, I want to move on to Destiny. A Destiny player finds an auto rifle that does 365 damage. Never changed, Destiny. Never changed, right? But you learn from your mistakes, though, you said before. Okay, whatever. Also, State of Decay. For those you UKers, State of Decay Year 1 Survival Edition, Panic in the Streets of London is coming. Also, inside the UK's first gaming school. That's right, I'll put a link in the info bar, which is really cool. Square Enix, I gotta talk about Square Enix. They're offering IDOS, IPs to indie devs for use. That's right, and this is interesting because they're giving you Gex, Fear Effect, and Arachnox. That's what they're giving you. So I can see SJWs running with Fear Effect. I can see that in a heartbeat. You know what I mean? But they're giving to them just to say, hey, you can play around with these. All right, Gex. I would be really interested to see what indie devs could do with Gex. To be quite honest. So we'll see what happens. Also, Dissidia, Final Fantasy coming to Japanese arcades. If you have not seen the trailer already, I remember I posted it on Twitter a couple days ago. Link will be in the info bar to the trailer and the news for it. All right, if you're interested. Also, Bethesda. Gotta talk about this. Bethesda. Forces Fortress Fallout dev into name change over the term Fallout. Are we going through this again where people are not allowed to use... You're trying to copyright certain words? You can't do that. You can't. And as far as I'm concerned, it is sad that this is what Bethesda is saying. It goes to show you just how insecure they are about their products, for names. I understand if this is an iconic name or something, but you've got to be kidding me that if something's called Fortress Fallout, that you think, oh, it's got Fallout in it, we'll sue you if you don't change it. That's ridiculous. It is. Also, I want to talk about more things that are ridiculous, and people have been talking about this all week. The Order, 1888. That's right, developers. We're going to talk about this. Developers are saying that people are looking for a reason to hate their game. Calling you haters and everything. First off, if you got to use the word haters, you've already lost. You've already lost, all right, developers? You're blaming people for being upset that your game is 5 hours long and it has 2 hours worth of cutscenes. You understand that, right? The game isn't that long for the price tag that you want. You should have pulled what Heavy Rain did, or Clock Tower, or a number of games that use minimal combat, and said, hey, we can make this longer. Matter of fact, let's give them multiple endings so they keep playing these games. But you didn't do that. No! You decided you want to make a very short game and then blame everyone else for being upset for spending X amount of dollars on a short game. That doesn't have that much replayability. That's crazy. And that's not all. No. They go even further. The Order 1888 dev says that the internet is the new playground for bullies. Really? You know, I'm going to clean this up here, all right? The new playground? No. You must be new to the internet. See, internet's been around for a long time. So it's a playground for bullies. You want to know what the old playground for bullies were? Real playgrounds. You understand that... Stop. Just stop. You're just making excuses. You're hurting yourself. Instead of telling people, because you had a lot of promises on this game, and saying this is what we're going to do, you should have just said, look, we sacrificed a lot of length for pretty graphics. That's what you should have just said. And said, this game, it's a short game, but we're going to try and give you, what you can handle, given the graphical construct of everything that they've used in this. Like I said, the game looks great, looks beautiful, but the game's too damn short. And when you have a game that's that short, it's damn near a movie. Go make movies! Seriously. But yet you want to blame the fans. They're just looking for a reason. Yeah, everyone's out to get you, right? Everyone. Come on, man. Also, I want to move on. The Last Guardian trademark has been abandoned by Sony. Now, when this first came out, gamers raged. They got upset. However, Sony came out, and I'll put both links in the info bar. Sony came out and said it's still in development, all right? That they assure you that it's coming, and that they filed for a petition to revive the trademark application, okay? So they just lost the trademark, but they're trying to get it back. So calm down, gamers. It's still coming, okay? Like I said, you should bring it for PS3 and PS4 for as long as we've been waiting. Just saying. Now, also, I want to move on about PS4, because Darksiders 2 Definitive Edition is coming to the PS4. We talked about this before. Give me a reason to say, hey, there's a game that I need to pay for this PS4. Give me a reason, because all I'm seeing is remasters. Oh, it's going to look pretty, shiny pretty. That's all it is. There's nothing really different about this. I'm going to sit and wait. I'm not sold on an Xbox One or a PS4. I'm just not sold. I'm not. That's my opinion. If you have one, you felt it was worth it, and you got it, that's you, okay? But for me, I still do not feel, like I said, when you just seen remaster after remaster come out, like I said, you were worried about bringing old games and classics to keep you afloat, as opposed to these developers pushing some new content. That's what it's ridiculous. Also, speaking of new content, I want to talk about this, all right? Kickstarter. All right, for those who don't know, Project Scissors, that's right, Nightcry. Now, I had just mentioned, Clock Tower not too long ago. Nightcry is now on Kickstarter. Actually, it's been on Kickstarter. I just found this out not too long ago. And they're trying to push, they're trying to get a certain amount of money in order for this game to go through. Because for what they are showing us, it looks amazing. And if you haven't seen it already, let's look at the trailer. know, that game looks amazing, and I couldn't wait to play it until I saw that this game only has 3 days left, and they're $50,000 off of goal. That's right, they needed $300,000, they're only at like $250,000. I don't think that this is going to make goal with 3 days left. And it's sad to see. I'll put the link in the info bar. Also, there's a video for gameplay, so you can see exactly how in-depth the gameplay can be. This is going to take me back so much due to the fact that I'm a big fan of Clock Tower, and for something like this to happen, and to see that it's $50,000 in the hole, I mean, I really hope that they still get that money and then take it and still develop this game and go some way about it. Maybe they can get a loan or something, but they're $50,000 off with 3 days to go. It's amazing how we can get people donate to others' Patreons and carrying on. Just not too long ago, we saw some dinosaur Survivor Horror dinosaur thing that fell through, and they had $100,000. And developer, I believe it was $114,000. All right, no, $118,000. And they got the money, and then they ran off. The artists haven't been paid. I mean, no one was paid. The guy who created this took the money and ran. They haven't heard from anybody since. And the people who donated, they talked to Kickstarter about it and complained about it, and Kickstarter's aware of it, but they said we can't do anything about it and only offered an apology. This is what we mean about when you have these type of games that, you know, everyone wants to do Kickstarter, but you have to understand that you're donating to an ideal. That's what you're doing, an ideal. It's not an actual, you know, I'm paying for my game right now. That's not what you're doing. But you also have to look at the credibility of said developer. That's what you need to do. This developer is known for coming through. And the fact that this developer did not make goal already, and it's just sad. $50,000 off 3 days with a game that looks amazing. It's kind of sad. It is. Because Clock Tower, we've been begging for a Clock Tower for a very long time. It's just sad to see. I want to move on. I want to talk about somewhat, I guess this is sad news, and then we'll end this on a good note. You know what I mean? Sega's big bet on console games falls short. Yep, because you put out Sonic Boom and you knew it was garbage. That's why. All right. However, the article talks about Alien Isolation. For anyone who haven't played Alien Isolation, for it to be a survival horror game, I recommend it. I do. It's a very good game. However, it has so much DLC. I would say wait for the complete edition till you get all that stuff together. However, the game is good. It talks about how Alien Isolation was the top seller of all the games that that they came out with that they took a run with. All right. Now, I do want to move on to some positive news to end this, okay? World of Warcraft players raised nearly $2 million to fight Ebola. That's right. World of Warcraft. So it goes to show you that World of Warcraft is still going strong and gamers still have a big heart. It goes to show you that. Also, I want to say this right now. I know a lot of you in the comments last week were like, yo, when are we getting gameplay videos again? I will explain this before I end this video, okay? I will get back to gameplay videos. You have to understand right now, this is boxing tournament going on. It does end in, I believe, early to mid-March. Once that is over, I will get back to gameplay videos. I will actually do a standalone video for that. So I can tell you the schedule, what's going on, because I'm not just going to do gameplay. I'm also going to be doing streaming again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you know, days that it's going to happen, things of that nature, and keep you up on the week-to-week things, and we'll talk about it. Like I said, I'll do a video for it just for that, so you know what's going on, okay? But I will get back to it. We will, trust me, we'll get back to it. Just let me get through this tournament first, and after it's over, because the next tournament isn't until May, I believe. So I'll have a little bit of time off so where I can, get this back up and running. It's not a problem, okay? I just want to let you guys and girls know that, because a lot of you have been asking me. So I'm done for the day. I'm hoping, I don't know if y'all heard that. They've been still construction, still trucks. It doesn't matter. Hopefully, that was a lot of information. But I hope that you see that within all of this, that not even just GamerGate, but just the community in general, when you're seeing this many things happen and consumers are demanding respect, all right? Because like I said, we hold the power on everything. We have the dollar. If you can't respect us, and we're not saying do as I say, we're saying do right by us. There's a difference. I think that's the translation that's getting lost here. You know what I mean? If you make a quality product, like I said, if this was back in the 90s, early 2000s, a lot of these developers, they wouldn't survive. I've said this before. They're so worried about making these big blockbuster games, and you can't go like that. You can't, because that's not what gaming is about. Like I said, I can sit down right now and play Pac-Man for a number of hours and think, hey, this game is, because of replayability, it's so much more fun than, say, The Order 1888. While that game looks somewhat fun, it's too short to say, hey, I'm going to drop X amount of dollars on this. No, you can't do that. No, and then blame the consumers for actually having, for having a disagreement with that. That's absolutely, not only is it classless, but it's unprofessional. The developers should be ashamed of themselves. Seriously. The media today should be ashamed of themselves. And once again, gamers buying into the DLC should be ashamed of themselves. I guess I'm going to save up money for it. You keep buying it, they'll keep pushing it out like that. And then you have the majority of us saying, hey, this is unfair. But this is what we've come to now. Like I said, the gaming community can easily clean this up, and we're starting to see that now. You know what I mean? They're actually standing up and they're actually saying something, saying, look, I'm not going to take this anymore. And it's threatening the way they do business. Which means either you go back to the way you used to do business, or you need to come up with a new scheme to do business. It's that simple. Because that's what you get paid for, right? You got all these CEOs sitting around. You have all these statistics and everything. All these people sitting around and not doing anything. But the people who are fired first are always the little guy. Always get laid off. It's amazing. Like I said, let them earn their paycheck. Consumers have every right to complain. And if you don't like it, well then you don't deserve to be in this industry or in this community.